What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to Top 5 Comics of January 2025. We're actually getting to this at a reasonable time within the month, now that we're making it the first show of the month. But I'm kind of excited to talk about comics with you. Drew, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Getting ready for MegaCon, flying out tomorrow. Uh, Nervous, anxious, all that stuff, all wrapped up in one big ball. Um, yeah, hopefully everything goes well. But yeah, let's talk about the best comics of January.
Oh, show. Real quick though, I do think you've got some stuff that you're selling at MegaCon. Is that correct?
Yeah, a few stuffs, some things.
Could
Yeah,
could this be some of those things?
those could be some of those things. And
Oh,
yeah, and the pre-sales on these the other night, last night, they did pretty well. From what
pretty well.
yeah, from what I understand, the pre-sale allotments for like all the foils and metals for every cover sold out, and so that is outstanding.
Nice. Nice. So you leave tomorrow for Orlando. You're gonna go MegaCon it up, sell some books. So for anyone watching, if you happen to be going to MegaCon, you should go find Drew and say what's up and buy some comics and have him sign some stuff. And if you have some stuff of his previous work that he hasn't signed, maybe bring it and let him sign it.
Yeah,
Rumor has it he tends to carry a bag of Sharpie markers to sign things with,
yeah,
all
maybe,
colors.
yeah, like all the blues, got some silvers, got some reds, maybe a black. I could,
Ooh,
I
why?
could.
Why's it got to be black?
It's what I had. I mean, it's devoid of color. It's black. It's devoid of light. It's black.
Yeah, there we go. Well, for tonight, before we reach this weekend, we are going to be discussing our top 5 comics of January. January. Gosh, I almost said January 2025. Um, I'm still on travel brain. There was a work driving home. That's why we're late. So apologies. But yeah, got some good stuff. And as always, we're going to prove to you that we don't know how to count because, especially for general comics, there's a lot of good stuff. Debuts, I eked out a top 5, and some people might have opinions, but that's nothing out of the ordinary. But Drew, before we get to our top 5, and before we get to our honorable mention, we've got a new category,
That's right. We do.
and it's the best booty butt cheeks comic of the month.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, you're the one I asked you to send me your list, and you did. And you've got your
Mhm.
order, and then you've got like a space, and then best booty butt cheeks comic, and I was like, what is this? So Drew, what is the best booty butt cheeks comic?
Uh,
Or like,
well,
what does that mean?
I would say this is the one that brought up my inner Al Pacino from Heat. She's got a great ass, and there was a particular comic in the month of January where I literally felt like Al Pacino in Heat, and it deserved it. It deserves an award all on its own. And if I ever meet this artist, I want to buy some of these pages, especially of the lady he has on display and
Oh.
her assets.
Well, before we look at this comic and discuss what book it is, I would just say be very careful about being Al Pacino in Heat, because he's still cranking out babies like in his 70s. So
Hey, good for him. That's wild.
yeah. All
Setting up
right. So
franchises.
I know, right? The book we are talking about is the Avengers number 22, and is that Black Cat on the cover?
That is Black Cat, and that is Black Cat with some cleavage as well.
Cleavage. I feel like cleavage is kind of rare in comics these days.
It's kind of frowned upon in Marvel. It's frowned upon for women to have cleavage or an amazing pair of assets, amazing set of assets. They just like to draw them as just asexual beings. Like there's no femininity. There's no musculature. They're just there. But Farid Karami, he is doing the Lord's work. I would anoint this man a saint, because how this man, this God among insects, how he illustrates Felicia Hardy in this issue, how he illustrates the ladies in this. There is one scene in particular in this where you see Black Cat. She's got her legs spread. She's like on a runway. You can see her from behind, and it's like, oh lordy, lordy, lord. He nailed it, and it's just Fareed is the artist that Marvel needs. He is the artist they need to bring back that sexuality in these characters, and it's in the interiors. Lord knows they can do it in the covers, but on the interiors, he is one of the very few capable of doing that, and he nails it in this issue. And she has the most amazing booty butt cheeks that you'll ever see in this issue.
So let's I didn't pull the interior art in, but let's see if I can. I'm gonna assume this is from the issue because I just googled it. Hold on, let me share my screen real quick, and
let's see. Hopefully, could be.
Come on now.
It might be.
So she's not in costume here.
No, but oh man.
But you see, like, you get the idea.
Yes. Oh,
curvy.
Yes.
Not like, honestly, like, I like Frank Cho's art because he gives his character, his lady's big thighs. You can tell she's got some nice little thighs there. But yeah, no, I feel like this gives you a good idea, and the whole playful wink just definitely adds to it. So yeah,
yes, it does.
Best booty butt cheeks. So if that's what you're looking for in a comic, the Avengers number 22, I guess that's what you need to go check out.
Farid Karami was showing off the original art on his Instagram page, and that was one of the pages he showed off, and he did it all by hand. It looked amazing, and it's like, I kind of want that page.
You're like, original art, please.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, no, look, if you guys tune in throughout the year, you might get some more random subheadings for some books. You might get some more booty butt cheeks comics as well. I mean, if Farid Karami's going to stick on this thing, who knows? Yeah. But with that said, I do want to run to the comments real quick and say hi to a few people before we jump into our honorable mentions. As always, we have Cajun Corey in the house. What's up, Cajun? How are you doing, sir? He says, evening, buddy. We also have George. George C. Metropolis is here. George. Evening, everyone. Hello. And George, counting is so overrated. Agreed. Well, who needs to, like, why do we need to learn how to count? Come on.
Yeah, it's racist.
And yeah, it is. Sheesh. And then we have the encyclopedia himself, Eric Breen, is here. Good evening, kids. Good evening, sir. But yeah, we got a lot of fun comics to talk about, so we're gonna jump into this. I do know that Nadia. So if you tune in to our Marvelous Mondays, and if you're ever in the chat, she usually lurks and will pop in every now and then. But Nadia's having a celebration stream tonight because she got monetized. So kudos to her for that, and I'll be hopping over there later. But first, we're gonna get to business. So, Drew, we're gonna go through your honorable mentions because I have none. Zilch, zada.
Whoa!
And I know, but your first honorable mention for the night is Prodigy: Slaves of Mars, number 5, written by Mark Miller with art by Stefano Landini and colors by Michelle. Oh man, this name always gets me. Michelle Assaracicorn. I'm sorry, Michelle. I apologize.
Close enough.
So this is kind of, it's kind of been lingering in your list for a while, and this was the last issue, correct?
Yeah, it's the last issue. Yeah. It wrapped things up, and it kind of set up things for the future as well. It was good. It's a good, solid wrap up. But I haven't been the biggest fan of the art in this arc. I thought Stefano did a fine job, but it's just, there's something about it, just like, it didn't really nail it for me. I thought it was just fine.
Fair.
But otherwise, yeah, it was a solid wrap up, and I very curious to see if he picks us back up in the future.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I will say I thought this was a solid book. If I'm being honest, I think I was having a little more expectation based on how the first issue of this arc started, because I thought it started off like really kind of wild and crazy, and I don't know if it fully delivered on the level I was expecting.
Yeah,
Not
no,
bad,
it's
but
when it got to a point like around issue 3 or 4, where it's just like it just kind of it really slowed down when I thought it was going to be
mhm.
picking it back up much more grander scale. But like, oh, okay, I guess we're going to get a little bit more melodramatic. But okay,
Yep. Yeah. Yes. But no, still definitely a solid read. And again, Mark Miller's been consistent. I don't know if he's killing it the way he was killing it in the ramp up to the big game. But it's still just solid work. And maybe this is another build to something else epic like that. So we'll have to see. But yeah. I'm still enjoying and picking up whatever he's putting out on the weekly, monthly, whatever it happens to be. Moving into our next honorable mention, we've got New Gods #2, written by Ram V with art by Evan Cagle and Jesse Longgrain, and colors by Francisco Segala and Jesse Longgrain. So, again, I'm going to kind of repeat what I said last month. I was a little surprised when I saw this on your list last month because you're not always the biggest fan of Ram V, and I'm hit or miss with him. But he tends to not have the most like energetic stories, and I was really concerned that he was going to get lost in this just plethora of characters and lore that you can fall down a rabbit hole in. But he's delivering. Like I'm right here with you and enjoying. I may have put this a little higher than you did, but go ahead and tell us what you're liking about the book right now.
yeah, I'm liking it. I'm really loving Evan Cagle's art. Evan Cagle is killing it on this book. It looks amazing and it really fits this story. Uh, it it has it's granted it's only been 2 issues. I try not to be too hard on it, but there was a point in this issue where it knocked it down a little bit lower with Big Barda
Hmm.
when she's yelling at Mr. Miracle and she's carrying the baby in her hand. I'm like, it didn't seem it's in her character to do that. I understand that, but doing it carrying the baby and it's just I guess trying to make him feel guilty about it. It's just like no, he's being a responsible dad. That's what he's
Yeah.
doing. I mean, that's the way I see it, and people may not see it that way, but see him being a responsible dad and having others stay with the baby. But anyway, regardless, it's still good, and I do love how we see things from the apocalypse side of things in this issue. We saw him from the um, uh, what's the planet? Damn, uh, I forget where the I don't know. Anyway, um, but Apocalypse and this we see things from their point of view, and
Yeah.
it's fantastic. It's great. It looks beautiful, and yeah, I can't wait for the next issue.
Yeah, we've got JK in the house, and JK put so far. I think Ram V style is working for the story. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I think you run the risk sometimes with the New Gods of going. Uh, I think sometimes when you have something that's too fantastical, it can get very hokey very easily. So I think Ram V can kind of bring a groundedness to it that works. Sometimes I just worry that he's going to get too grounded and too much in the drama and not focus on adventure. But we'll see how things shake out from here.
yeah, and the other
Uh,
thing is a lot of creators they'll do like the in the beginning they'll give you like the
yes.
whole backstory of it, and like no, we don't need the whole backstory. Just give us a
No.
fun story. We'll figure it out. We're smart people.
Yeah. We will catch up along the way. Yeah, no, I think that was the thing you and I were both the most surprised about last month was that he didn't do that. And God, I'm so thankful that he didn't. We also have Salty Traveling Sea in the house. He did not pick up New Gods. So, Drew, are you confident enough to say like, hey, you should check it out? Or are you more like, hey, it's solid so far, but maybe wait and see, maybe
I
trade with?
say I'd say give it a shot. It's like I said, it's only been 2 issues. I'd say go ahead and give it a shot. Pick it up.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next honorable mention of the night, and that is going to be G.I. Joe #3, written by Joshua Williamson with art by Tom Riley and colors by Jordi Belair. So some people might be a little shocked. I think some people might have expected this to be a little bit higher in the list for you. So, you know, should we be concerned that it's coming this low in the honorable mentions, or?
I would say no. I would say I had other books in here that I consider that I had more fun with. Because there's a lot of books that are ahead of this that are if you see all the ones I got, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. All those came out too. But yeah, it's still a fun issue. I mean, you got
Yeah.
one of our Joes behind, more or less behind enemy lines. He's undercover
Mhm.
with the Cobras, with Cobra Commander and Destro, and it's pretty humorous at a point. And yet Cobra Commander being an absolute psychopath that he is, killing one scientist, tossing him down to a pit of vipers. And you got Duke and the new guy. I forget what his name is. Going at it, and it's fun. It's fun stuff. You
Yeah.
just you kind of reflect my thoughts that I have for issues 1 and 2 in this issue is that you see that the Cobras have their shit together, whereas the Joes don't really.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that approach to this. But as we all, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm waiting for Snake Eyes. I am anxious for Snake Eyes to show up.
Oh yeah, yeah. I will agree with what you said. I think part of what really works here is seeing the Cobras kind of they're working as a functioning faction, and the Joes are also trying to get a feel for one another and figure things out. And it makes for a fun story. And I'll even say that if anything between Duke and Cobra Commander, Joshua Williamson has shown he can do the kind of fun stuff, but he can get a little intense if he needs to. Both of those
Oh
books kind
yes.
of touched into things that worked really well. So I think we're early on. I think he's purposely trying to keep it fun, but I fully suspect you're going to get some nice punches coming pretty shortly. So
I
moving
hope so.
on
Yeah.
to yeah, oh yeah. Moving on to the next honorable mention of the night, we've got Super. Oh, I don't know why I dropped that in down there like that, but we've got Superman #22. Oh, buddy. Uh, this is written also by Joshua Williamson with art by Dan Mora and colors by Alejandro Sanchez. Now, I will openly state that yeah, salty's killing me. Super in. Um, I'm behind on Superman. I haven't been reading it. So tell me what's working with this book, because if you told me, oh, there's a comic book where Superman and Doomsday team up, I'd be like, nope, I'm out.
Well, here's the thing: they're not really teaming up per se in this book.
Hmm.
It's you have well, first off, one thing that's great about this Dan Mora on the art. Granted, there are pages in this that look absolutely beautiful. Like when you have the alien ships approaching Metropolis over the cityscape, it's got to be a double pager. They look amazing. But what you have here is the alien race from Superman Doomsday Hunter Prey. They created the character of the Radiant. They have
Hmm.
come to Earth to find Doomsday and to kill him once and for all. And Superman, being Superman, he's in that quandary where it's like, does he really deserve to die? Naturally, most people would say yes, but he doesn't. He really feels like he should be. He's worth, just living. He's standing trial, going to prison the rest of his life, whatever. But they're not having any part of it, and let's just say some characters getting his throw a little fisticuffs in this book. But what's more interesting about it is that you've got Doomsday from the future, who's now the time trapper, and he's talking to Superwoman, just kind of telling her it's like, oh, I must live, don't do this to me, I can't die. Just so it's good. Things are gonna get interesting. It's not an original story, but it's
Right.
fun and engaging, and pulling out the member berries from Superman Doomsday Hunter Prey. I
Yep.
remember that. I enjoyed it, and great art by Dan Mora.
Yeah. I mean, look, anytime Dan Moore is on art, I'm sold, you know. And it's not that I'm not reading this because I don't plan on reading it. It just, with everything we're reading, some things gonna have to fall to trade weight. And this is one of those things because Superman for me kind of just didn't wasn't great, pulling me in. And Salty, dang it, why did you have to bring this up? Doesn't Slot take over on Soup soon?
Thanks, Debbie Downer. Jeez.
Yeah, God, thanks a lot, Salty. She's ruining everyone's night with that one. No, I'm kidding.
Wah, wah.
Yes, he does. And I guess we can hope for the best, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. But we'll see what old Slot. he says, "Don't shoot the messenger, my dudes." We were trying to forget that news even existed, Salty. No, I'm just giving you a hard time. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what he does to a DC book. That's if he can come in and actually write an arc and finish it. If not, Christos Gage will probably be stepping in to write, and I'm okay with Christos Gage writing Superman. I just wish they would just let Christos Gage write Superman. But
yeah,
we'll see. Next up on our list of honorable mentions for tonight, we've got Space Ghost, number 9, written by David Pepose with art by Jonathan Lau and colors by Andrew Dahlhaus. Look, I think this is a fun book. I wasn't reading it throughout most of last year. Got caught up for Max's best of stream, and was really, really surprised about one, that David Pepose was actually delivering something that I liked, but two, that just the balance that this book has, the way that it manages to capture like really dark, intense elements, kind of like a good childlike kind of I guess tone with the kids, but also still serious nature. It's not too jokey or hokey or kiddie, but it manages to balance like some heavier elements with Space Ghost versus these kids kind of becoming superheroes and having fun with this new world of being a hero, and then just the lore of Space Ghost. So specifically for this issue, Drew, what stood out for you and what worked?
Well, what's great about this issue, I really enjoyed, is that the way this one starts off. So, in the previous issue, in issue 8, spoiler alert, Space Ghost gets his ass handed to him. It's not even close, and his wrist gauntlets are ruined, so he stands no match against big bad guy and his army. And the way this issue 9 opens up, it's like for the first 10 pages or so, we don't see Space Ghost. He's not in the picture. And like the villains think they've won everything, and you got the kids on the run. They're trying to figure out how they're going to defeat him and how they're going to survive. And then when Space Ghost does appear, it's like, oh, that's so badass. I love it. It's a great page, and he slowly makes his way toward the bad guy. It's just taking out the enemy from within, and it's fantastic. And the final fight that these two have, oh, it is beautiful, it's epic, it's glorious, and I love it. Yeah, this comic is so much fun, so well illustrated, and so well told that it continues to be one of the best in the business right now. It's amazing.
Agreed. And that's kudos to both David and his writing and Jonathan and his art. Jonathan, cool. We've said this a few times now, but it's only a matter of time before he gets scooped up by the big two, hopefully DC, and it's doing some just top notch, like mainstream superhero work, because he deserves that pedestal. But it feels like you're kind of in this time period of like, oh, how lucky we are to be aware of his work before he blows up, because it's only a matter of time. So, oh yeah, see, I'm with Salty on this one. He said Space Ghost's only problem for him is deciding which Incredible cover to buy.
Hey, that's true. I mean, they have Matina covers, and they've got I think Perio covers as well, and Bjorn Barons, Jay Lee. They got superstars doing covers for this book, and yeah, it's deserved it.
Yeah, I mean, even the A covers for this title have been freaking excellent, and that's not That's not always the case, but
No.
yeah, great stuff. Hey, look, even Breen is coming in with Space Ghost is the best indie book on the market today. So that is high praise for Eric Breen, who's usually not crazy about modern day comics. So
Very true. Yeah.
and then he said, always go with the retro cover. Okay, that sounds more like Breen. That's what I expect from you, Breen.
The retro
But,
covers are cool too.
Yeah, no, agreed. I just
Yeah, I
like
think
giving Breen
it's
a hard
Michael.
time.
Yeah, I think it's Michael Cho that's doing those.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. I completely back you on this pick. Great book. If you're not reading it, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. And the way they're pacing the story is nice with you'll have just pretty much individual issues or maybe 2-issue kind of like stories take place. And then you have the characterization serving as the arc. So it's a lot of fun. Moving on to our next honorable mention, we've got it's blurry. I wonder why it's blurry. Maybe because we're going to talk about it later. So just put a mental note. Drew's got an honorable mention here, and we will get to this story in a bit. But for now, we're going to go ahead and move on and go with Nightclub 2, number 5, written by Mark Miller, with art by Juan Ramirez and colors by Fabiana Mascalo. This is the second to last issue. I was a little concerned with where issue 4 left off. So, Drew, how does issue 5 turn out?
I had a blast with this. Once again, there's a great moment in this issue with the lead gang member when he meets his father in prison, and it is hysterically violent. I loved it, and it took a turn I didn't expect it to. And the one the girl of the nightclub, she's by herself, and she's got to figure out Amy had to figure out how she's going to bring back the other two. So she's studying up on all the vampire movies and books, see what could possibly work, and she thinks she has a way. We'll see what you got to read to find out. See what happens. But all I know is that by the end of this issue, regardless of that, they're going to be massively outnumbered by the end of the book.
Oh,
and it's only going to get uglier. Yeah, this series is a lot of fun. Mark Miller, fantastic storyteller. Juan Ramirez, fantastic artist. Yeah, this is a strong recommend for Nightclub 2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I fully second this. I do think it's really hard when you're kind of looking at all of Mark Miller's books and trying to discuss them because they're all so different from one another. But I do feel that I feel like I have more fun with Nightclub than I do his other books. Like I don't know if there's a certain energy to it or what, but I just grin like an idiot half the time when I'm reading it. And it does some crazy wild shit in some of these issues.
So there may be another book of Mark's on here that I had a much wilder time. How you expressed your feelings for this book is how I express my feelings for the other book that's going to be coming up on the best of the list.
Fair. Absolutely fair. Real quick to kind of echo us, we've got Salty saying Nightclub 5 was crazy. Completely agree. And then we also have Cexale, I don't know, Cezale. I'm sorry, dude. I'm butchering your name. I'm giving away my Texas education here. But he put, I'm on a chat with Eric Breen from Thinking Critical. My life is now complete. I get it. I felt that way when I did a stream with Eric Breen. So, like, I understand. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
So I felt that way when so real quick, we're talking about Mark Miller. I felt that way when I told Wes a little piece of G-Wiz trivia. I told him that Mark Miller owned the cat from the first Superman movies, Superman 78. He owned Whiskers.
Oh, yep.
It was stuffed. And he was like, really? Seriously? He does? I'm like, yeah, he does. He has it on his piano. And when he had him on the channel, Mark, what did he ask him? He asked him if he had the cat. And he said, yeah, yep. I got it. Yeah, he's got Frisky.
I remember that.
Frisky.
That was a fun stream. It was a fun stream because he was just like, yeah, we're having a house party and I'm sneaking off to do the stream. I was like, that's awesome. Real quick, because I did mention her earlier, but we've got Nadia in the house giving kisses. But not only is she giving kisses, she's dropping 5 gifted memberships to PBC. Nadia, thank you so much. Once we get finished here, I'm going to be hanging out with you over on your channel. Again, we're celebrating Nadia tonight because she is monetized. So if you like horror, you know what I don't know why I've never done this, but if you like horror with balls, go follow horror with nads. Right?
Balls.
I mean, balls. But no, she's got a great channel. So if you love anything horror content, movies, TV, comics, just go see what she's doing because she's covering it all. She's even been doing giveaways of comics, horror comics. So fun stuff. Just FY, you should go check it out. But Nadia, for the 5 gifted memberships, I will play. Let me scroll down. Dun, 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 dun. I guess since we had the balls joke, I should just go with this.
I'll show you the tool that's most important to our survival. But fair warning, it's my penis.
Oh,
Hey.
Chevy.
I love that show. It's good stuff. But no, Nadia, thank you so much. And then if you're wondering, we do have content on the channel that is kind of hidden behind a paywall there, and there's going to be more stuff that's coming. But yes. So apparently my regular handle got a gifted membership. I might have to go through and gift some memberships in a second on my own to help balance that out, but that's crazy. We've got Cannoli Sasquatch in the house. What's up, sexy? What's up, Cannoli? I hope you're doing well. And yes, Corey, I said horror, or did I say horror? Who knows? Maybe they're one and the same. You never know. All right, we're going to potato. And I'm going to go ahead and move on with our comics for tonight. So the next honorable mention is Redcoat #9, written by Jeff Johns with art by Brian Hitch and colors by Brad Anderson. Now, I'm still behind on this arc. Apologies. But, we kind of did the whole first arc. We had that one-off issue where Simon visits why can't I think of his Albert Einstein as he's dying, and now we're moving on to a different point in time. And tell us about the adventure we're on with this one.
Yeah, so this was more or less teased a little bit in the past, because one thing I love about Redcoat, the seeds they planted, pun intended, is that how the character Simon Pure is going to be interacting, or has interacted, with characters of American folklore, such as Pecos Bill, Annie Oakley, Johnny Appleseed, Paul Bunyan. Maybe we'll even get John Henry. Who knows? Maybe Molly Pitcher. I don't know. But right now it's Johnny Appleseed, and I love that because I grew up reading about Johnny Appleseed, and I got a kick out of this issue. Get to see these two guys, being drunkards on hard cider, which is amazing, and fighting a giant worm, which is beautifully illustrated by Brian Hitch.
Oh no, Drew died. Okay, Drew. Oh, Drew's back. He's back. Hold on. That was great. I'm clipping that shit. Welcome back.
Hi. Yeah, this is a fun issue, so I think I was really hoping it was going to be much more exciting than it was. If don't get me wrong, it did have some exciting moments, but I was really building this up in my head because I was really looking forward to this issue for over a month or so. But I found it to be just good. It was a solid issue, and because there's a lot of telling and not showing in this issue. Like there's one point in this issue where Simon talks about how he and Johnny Appleseed came across the Headless Horseman. I'm like, wait, what? You don't just talk about that. I want to see that. And it was kind of a shame. And if you're doing a comic book story, it's gonna be you need to show, don't tell. And
yeah, agreed.
But overall, it's a solid issue. And in the next issue, we're going to see Annie Oakley. I can't wait.
Do you feel like the tell versus the show in this issue was to allow for more story time in a future issue in the arc?
I don't know. It's just what a lot of the telling in this is because the story we get here. This isn't the first time they've met. Yeah, I was really hoping
Yeah.
we were going to visually see that, but no, it's told to us when they first met. It's like,
Gotcha.
I would have loved to have seen that. But so this is
Yeah.
It's just fine, and yeah, it does a good job. And like I said, Brian Hitch's art is solid in this.
Nice. Yeah, Brian Hitch just consistently delivers. Like, I'm really loving the work they're doing in this book. And like you, I love the endless possibility of stories that they can tell with American folklore. And I'm growing to like Simon more and more as a character as the more that I read. And I've said this before, but I wasn't fully sold on this book at first. So if you read the first like 2 issues and were like, I would say definitely just at least read issues 3 and 4 of this run, and then I think you'd pretty much get hooked at that point, because I do think this is the best Ghost Machine book. So, but we've got Salty coming in to say Redcoat was another tough decision on what cover to get. All were beautiful. I mean, yeah, the indies are killing it right now with their covers. And I think the big 2 need to cop on and get back into the game, just in general. But yeah, agreed on the covers here. Can Only Sasquatch is coming in. This is one of the series I've really been wanting to get into. I believe sometime this month they have volume 1 of all the first runs coming out. That would sound about right in terms of timing, because I know Rook Exodus is on a bit of a hiatus, but I could see them dropping the first trades relatively soon. And if you're not reading it, go pick them up. It's definitely worth it. And again, I'm loving pretty much everything that Ghost Machine is doing. There's one book that I'm just about, but everything else I'm really enjoying, and this is probably my favorite. So
yeah.
And then Eric Breen is off to do a top 5 of the week stream. No, I just got to find time. The whole idea was having Breen and Joe Corella together for a stream. And Joe has been, Joe and I's schedules have been crazy at different times, but Joe was a busy little beaver. But
yes, he is.
If you never watched the kind of like Silver Age throwback deep dive, I don't even want to call it a deep dive because it really wasn't, but just to our Batman in the Silver Age stream, go find it. It's in the playlist, and it was a great time with Breen and Dro, and we want to do more stuff like that where we feature characters during certain time periods. So hopefully in the near future we'll get those back up and running. Real quick as well, we have the one, the only Salty Traveling C coming in and joining as a member. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate it. And for that, we will give you, let's see, we'll give you a little bit of, since he's making a smart decision, I'm going to say he's not an idiot. And because of that, this clip seems fitting.
I want to resolve this like civilized men. I'm not threatening you. I'm unarmed. Good.
And in case you're wondering, he then gets up and says, I am, however, wearing full body armor. I am not an idiot or moron, one of the two. But Salty, clearly not an idiot. Clearly not a moron because he's subbing. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And if you didn't get to see our last book club issue, we had Salty on to discuss Saga of the Swamp Thing by Alan Moore. Freaking great conversations. Great guy to have on. Salty's got so much knowledge. And I said it in the stream, but I try to bring people on that are smarter than me. And that stream definitely showed it.
I like to think I came in with some info behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, 100%. There were so many good conversations. That stream in particular, I thought was a lot of fun. Because you came in with a lot of behind the scenes knowledge. Salty was able to bring some kind of perspectives of when this book was coming out and remembering it. We had Max, who had never read the book before that time. Jim and I had kind of similar stories of, we were both working in comics, and because of that, we were trying to do deep dives into books. So we didn't, discover the book until kind of later, and later in life, I guess I should say. But man, it was such a fun conversation and a nice little deep dive. So if you need to kill like 2.5 hours, make sure you go watch that. Well, go read the book first and then go watch it. You will not be disappointed, I promise. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next honorable mention of the night, and that is gonna be Feral, number 9, written by Tony Fleeks with art by Trish Forstner and colors by Tony Rodriguez. So Drew, in the issue before this one, we had the cats. They found a sanctuary in terms of this home. This lady took them in and they were safe. But as they're in the house, things start looking a little more suspicious, a little more crazy. And we find a dead cat under the couch. We've got some crazy noises coming from behind the door. And then it kind of gave us a tease right there at the end that all hell was about to break loose. So does all hell break loose?
Yes, all hell breaks loose in this issue, and you see it pretty much on the. I think it is on the first. No, it's like on the first couple pages. I think it's a double pager when you see all of the cats going at it in the living room. You see, there has to be like 20 plus cats going at it, and you see like the carcasses of dead cats, cats wrestling with each other, cats clawing at each other, blood all over the place. They're all hacking and coughing, and a lot of most of them have that rabies disease. And I think Trish actually told me, she said this is probably the hardest page, one of the hardest pages she ever had to draw, because of all the cats. It took her the longest, and it shows. But
Oh yeah.
and eventually in this hoarder's paradise, we get to see the old lady's face, and you can tell that she's infected too. So the virus, spoiler alert, has crossed over to humans now at this point, and it is nasty. And she ends up tossing a couple of the cats, the naughty cats, into the basement, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to get out of there. They think they found a way, maybe, but then the old lady's like, "You've been naughty. What are you doing? You're crossing sounds." And it takes a little bit of a turn toward the end of this. I'm not going to say what happens, but you do need to check this out. It is a very, very, very fun read on a zombie story involving animals that may have now crossed over to humans. I thoroughly enjoy this series.
Yeah, I'm having a ton of fun with Feral. We've seen the praises of Trish a lot, but Tony's writing a fun book. But I think Trish is really kind of delivering on the art, and it's getting so much of the quote unquote the acting in there. But it's keeping you on your toes, and it's that fun juxtaposition of that Disney looking cutesy cats and then some just wild and crazy shit going on. But a great kind of take on your standard zombie story, but just given a little bit of a twist, which is making it feel somewhat fresh. So I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, we have Hyde Street, number 3, written by Jeff Johns with art by Ivan Rice and colors by Brad Anderson. Drewski, this was a Christmas issue coming out in January.
Yes, it was. They're going to say something else after that. Wait, okay, my turn. It was a blast reading this. I enjoyed this. So this, or do we want to answer that? Or are we going to wait on answering that? Or
I mean, you can answer.
So I find it's good because I love horror and I love characters that are different in their own way, different points of view, and I love it when a writer can get me to care for characters that I don't normally like. I hate cats. Full stop, hate cats. And what they've managed to do is get me to care for these cats, and that they can survive. And with each issue, the situation is looking bleaker and bleaker and bleaker. And it has me coming back for the next chapters as they're coming out.
Yeah. Salty Traveling Sea added the storytelling and character development. Yeah, both. You fall in love with characters early on. They do a really good job of giving, some backgrounds to these characters without weighing down the plot. Like every issue is a pretty fast paced issue.
Yeah.
But
issue 8 was probably my favorite one because I love how it felt very much a callback to Stray Dogs, where it's just like this rising tension throughout the issue.
Yep.
You're like, what's going on here? This situation does not feel good. There's something not right here. And
Well-
yeah, sure enough, by the end of it, yeah.
and that's what I was going to say. One of the great things about the book is the constant dread you feel because something bad's about to happen. It's ever present. So good stuff there. And yeah, Salty, completely agree. It's wild how much excellent indie stuff is out there right now. I couldn't disagree more. Well, yeah, no, great stuff. My English is great tonight. But Drew, we're gonna get back to Hyde Street number 3. Let us know what's working with this book, because this is kind of like Ghost Machines, kind of like Twilight Zone with a twinge of horror mixed in there.
But with recurring characters.
Yes,
And
correct.
So we've got our recurring characters here. Got the little Boy Scout, and you got the gentleman with the X-ray glasses, and they're trying to Mr. X-ray, and they're trying to. You find out that Pranky, the kid, he already has enough. He's already, I guess, brought in enough souls that he can leave anytime he wants to, but he doesn't. He wants to stay because he loves doing this.
He's having too much fun.
Yeah, and sure enough, the character that we're introduced to in this guy dressing up as Santa Claus, is an absolute piece of shit of a human being. And you can tell this kid is just so anxious to go to town on this guy. And when you think he's about to get it, we get a little twist from Jeff Johns. We get the introduction of a new character, and he looks pretty damn cool. And very curious to find out what his backstory is. Yeah, this is a very fun series, and Ivan Reis, another industry legend now. He's still at the top of his game. Beautiful, beautiful art in this.
Yeah. Definitely some of the best work he's had in years. You can tell he's loving what he's doing. So if you're mainly familiar with more of his like recent DC stuff within the past like 5 years or so, like he's just blowing that work out of the water. This is more reminiscent of the detail and love he was giving to Green Lantern back when he was on that book.
Aquaman.
Aquaman too. Like just really good work here. And a fun kind of creepy story. I like that this also feels like it has endless possibilities. Because like between Hyde Street and then what was it, Devour, that was like the kind of one-off one-shot sidestep from Hyde Street. It's almost like it's almost like those kind of classic almost like, I don't want to say grim fairy tales, but it's like if you could take that and make it modern day, kind of similar. Like you're getting these kind of creepy stories, but they all kind of have a bit of a lesson. I just realized Drew died again. This sad shame. He's not going to make it to MegaCon now. Like what the heck? Gosh. But we will go ahead and move on. Let's see what's next because I can't remember. Oh, we're about to get into our top 5, so this works perfectly. I will say he's back. He's back.
Sorry, I
Yes,
don't.
he's back.
I move an inch and it just dies.
That's fine. Look, I'm just glad that when you had the camera fall earlier, I'm just glad you were wearing pants.
Me too.
If you hadn't been, that could have been pretty sad and scary.
Yeah, don't want to be the guy from CNN.
Before we get into our top 5, I do want to say hi to Zach, who's popped into the chat. What's up, brother? How are you, sir? I hope you're having a good night. Thank you for being here. And of course, if you have not hit that like button, go smash that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go subscribe to the channel. We talk about nerd shit. That's it. Comics, movies, TV. It's all of it. But we're really kind of building out a lot of fun shows. So go hit subscribe. And if you're on the X side of things, the Twitter side of things, come over to YouTube, just give that little thumbs up a click. and I'll thank you for it later. All right, moving into our top 5, we're going to start with my picks first. Well, we'll go one by one, but with each number, I'll give my pick first. And just a reminder, I'm giving the top 5 debuts of the month, while Drew will continue to cover the top 5 general comics of the month. But coming in at number 5 for me might be a controversial pick for some people, because I feel like people were either like, yeah, I didn't mind it, or they hated it. And for me, that was Ultimate Wolverine #1, written by Chris Condon with art by Alessandro Cappuccio. Italiano. And colors by Brian Valenza. So look, I understand. Look, Salty's coming in. It's coming at me hard. I understand what people may have disliked about it. I will say, on concept alone, I don't mind what they're doing, and I'm curious to see where they go with it. You essentially have Wolverine, and he is operating as the Winter Soldier because he's been brainwashed. So he's this killing machine that's kind of just, mind wiped to be the attack dog. And conceptually, I think that's great. I also didn't mind that they killed 2 characters off kind of right off the bat. I will say I was sad one died, but the other I was like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Like, this book felt like it actually had some action, which I don't remember the last time I read a Marvel book that felt like it had action, especially in the Ultimate Universe. So I will give it credit for that alone. Drew, did you hate it?
So I thought it was all right. And then they did something with a couple legacy X-Men characters. One in particular that I was not a fan of.
Yeah, I think we're both in agreement there.
Yeah. But on the whole, I would say it's okay. It's an interesting concept, an interesting idea. I'm curious to see where Chris Condon goes from here.
Yes. Yeah. I will say that the character we're referring to definitely felt like it was there for shock value. And I don't like shock for the sake of shock value. So that wasn't my favorite moment. Had they just done it with one of the characters, I would have been fine. So I'm with you. Especially when you're getting...
What would have been cool, I think, instead of the character that they used, like, what if it was Mariko that they found, and he winds up killing Mariko? It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. I mean,
the lady's going to marry. What the hell?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff they could have done a little bit differently that I think may have worked out a little bit better. But I, if I'm being honest, I feel like it's one of the better Ultimates books that's come out with this new launch.
I will give it that. Yes.
So yeah, is it great? No. Is it okay to good? Sure. But Salty disagrees, and that's fine. And I'm dead to him, and he is now unsubbed. I've gotten like 8 DMs being like, I want my money back. Just kidding, he didn't. But he did, and he's only proven the point that I made earlier. He said, see, Drew is smart, not like Josh. I told you guys, I surround myself with smart people. That's how you do this, kid. But no, if you didn't like it, trust me, I completely agree. And I even told Drew, like, I struggled a little bit pulling my top 5 this week. It wasn't the easiest top 5 to pull. And this, I would say my picks for number 4 and 5, I was kind of weighing some things here. And some of them come with a little bit of a caveat. So this really comes with, it depends on what they do with the book moving forward. But conceptually, I think they have something to work with here. And we'll just have to wait and see. But moving on to our general picks of the night, coming in at number 5 for Drew is... Oh, shit, I forgot. Hey, surprise, we have interior art now. Oh, my God. I'm failing tonight. So moving forward, we will look at the interior art, but you can see a little bit here. And as far as the preview pages they gave for Wolverine, they only gave 2 of actual art. 2 were credits, which why are you wasting preview pages like that? So I just threw an extra cover in there. But for Drew, coming in at number 5 is Aquaman #1, written by Jeremy Adams with art by John Timms and colors by Rex Locus. Drew, go ahead and give it away, because I may or may not be talking about this later.
Yeah, so I had a blast with this issue. This is a reintroduction to Aquaman, Arthur Curry, if you're not familiar with it. And not just that, but he's got new powers now. After what happened in Obsolete Power, he was given some of, I guess, Maris powers to be able to control water. And so we see him kind of struggling to figure it out, how it works, and Maris having to guide him, telling him kind of what to do to control the water. And he may or may not be successful with it. You got to read to find out. But yeah, the art in this by John Timms is absolutely beautiful. It's perfect for the story. And where the story is going by the end of this issue, holy crap, I cannot wait. This is going to get really damn good. I had a blast with this issue. Aquaman is in the perfect state right now. I have not been this happy about Aquaman, where he's at, in a very, very long time. And I could not be happier.
Yeah. I started to jump in, but I'll save my thoughts. I agree with you. And look, we have wonderful interior art displayed here. Ciexla came in and put Jeremy Adams equals the next Jeff Johns. In a lot of ways, I completely agree. He seems to understand the fundamental, like, basic nature of these characters, and he seems to understand, what stories make sense that progress not just in narrative, but where they are as a character. And that's something that seems to be missing. People have written good stories before, but it never felt like it was progressing the character itself. And this feels like it's actually taking the character somewhere. And we're only one issue in.
What he's been able to do, especially in Green Lantern, is that he's been able to write these massive epic stories, like event level stories, but been able to contain them within that title itself, which is fantastic. And it's so hard to do anymore with writers at the big two. Yeah,
completely agree. I want to say more, but again, I'm saving it. We're gonna move on to our. Oh, go ahead.
I just say, "Mum's the word." Mum's
the word. Mummy.
Galaxy Quest. Sorry.
Oh, I was going Family Guy, but that's okay. Moving on to our number 4 pick for the month of January. I have come in with my number 4 pick is the season's #1, written by Rick Remender with art by Paul. I'm just screwing up these names tonight. Azakeda, and Matt Lopez on colors. So I'm going to be honest. I was looking forward to this book because I've really been enjoying most of what Rick Remender's doing lately. And then I picked this up and I started reading it and I was like, bro, what the fuck is this? Like, did you read this at all?
No, I did not.
Okay. So it's like 12 pages, 13 pages of this girl, Spring, trying to catch this letter that keeps getting blown in the wind, and then something crazy will happen that kicks it up and moves it. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what is going on here? And it's cutesy and it's fine. It's whatever. I just wasn't feeling it. And then the last few pages, it's like you get story elements brought in. I'm still wondering what the fuck we just did for 12 pages because I don't know. But the ending of this book really kind of, made me get ingrained in the story to where I'm interested to see what happens next, because you've got Spring, which is this kind of, vibrant, joyful, aloof character. And you've got 4 sisters. They're siblings that are all each of the seasons. But you've got Summer writing to Spring, or no, Autumn is writing to Spring, I believe. And the letter she writes is the letter that Spring is trying to catch. So you have this kind of fun, whimsical, great art. And then you get the letter, and the letter is relatively heavy about things that are going on. And it sets up this mystery that I'm curious to see what happens next. But I finished the book and was still kind of like, I really don't know what Rick Remender was trying to do with these first few pages. And then at the end, he has a letter where he wrote a letter to the audience, the readers, discussing what he wanted to do with this book, conceptually, how it came about, and how they wanted to approach it. And he kept talking about Miyazaki and how he loves Miyazaki films. And there's a sense of whimsy into it. And it starts with this kind of fun, cutesy, type of narration and depiction. And then things get, I don't want to say heavy, but grounded. And the moment he mentioned that, I was like, okay, I totally get it now. I understand what you're doing. It makes sense. I hate that I had to read that to see what you were doing, but that alone just kind of put everything into focus for me. And that's like, I got it. I got it. I'm on board. But yeah, there is a mystery setup. It is kind of freaky and odd. I mean, you see the cover here. It's a little disturbing, and you get that in the book as well. But it's early on. We'll see. I think Rick Remender's a great writer, and it looks like he could do something really fun here. And again, I've mentioned this before. A lot of what Rick does is different. Each book, nothing ever feels the same. Different tones, different genres. This is no exception. So, and you didn't read it, right?
No. There was something about it, like it just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't interest me. I don't know why.
No, that's fair. When I picked it up and started flipping through it, I was like, oh, maybe I won't read this. And then I figured, no, it's Rick. I need to read it. But it's one of those, if you look at it out of context, and here, I'll bring up the pages here. It's just a unique looking book.
That's it. Yes, now I remember.
Yeah.
I remember I got like 3 or 4 pages in, and I'm like, what the fuck am I reading? I completely agree. I was in the same boat. But at the end, you definitely get some darker tone. It's a quick shift in tone to set up the story that's coming. So we'll see what happens in future issues. I would say it's worth picking up and checking out. I think Rick Remender alone is reliable enough to check out. So this is coming in at number 4 for me. But for Drewski down here, coming in at number 4, we have G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, number 15, written by Larry Hama with art by Chris Mooneyham and colors by Francesco Segala. So, Drew, I know you've been having a blast with this. It's been action-packed. Last month, we talked about how Larry Hama's coming in and going, hey, I know this new G.I. Joe line's getting a lot of attention, but we've been delivering from the beginning, and in case you forgot, my man Mooneyham over here is giving the goods. This issue, I think, is probably the best illustrated from Chris Mooneyham, especially in certain pages here. There are certain pages in this issue where they look straight up Sienkiewiczian. It's the best Bill Sienkiewicz Chris Mooneyham is doing in this book. They are amazing. And this issue is pretty much Destro versus Cobra Commander. And you got the Joes standing on the sidelines like, should we do anything? I don't know. No, just let them go at it. Let them have fun. And it's great stuff. You see just Destro and Cobra Commander just laying into each other. It's awesome. Chris Mooneyham's at the top of this game right now in this book. And Larry Hama, he's having a blast. I have not had this much fun reading G.I. Joe in a very, 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 very long time. And this is the best state G.I. Joe has been in decades. And I could not be happier.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, which granted, I only have the first 3 pages here. But even in the first 3 pages, you can tell just the level of storytelling that Mooneyham is doing, even this middle page with the shadows and the stairs. And then you have Destro's face kind of hidden in shadow here. Great stuff. He's delivering great action. And I've said before, I wasn't the biggest fan of Mooneyham on other titles, but this is where he fits and he belongs. And it just, everything's working. Everything's clicking the way that it's supposed to. And it's just really good quality content. But yeah, and if you're looking for a little, if you're looking for a little testosterone in your books, right here.
Absolutely.
All righty, moving on to number 3. Our number 3 pick for January 2025. My number 3 debut for the month is Green Lantern Fractured Spectrum #1, written by Jeremy Adams with art by V. Ken Marion and colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr. Now, Drew, this was in your honorable mentions list, so I'm going to let you take the first dance with talking about the book.
Yeah, so one, V. Ken Marion, truly, truly amazing artist, and one of the few artists I have to physically look up to, literally, when I'm talking to him. It's very rare that I get to do that. But so this issue is more or less setting up where the Green Lantern, reestablishing the Green Lanterns where they should be. They're setting back up Oa, putting back in place the battery. Everything is where it should be. Everything is right. We fixed that Jeffrey Thorne bullshit. That is gone. We're back to where it should be. But at the same time, we got a little sorrow, I think. Just he's found the Book of Oa, and let's just say things aren't looking too good right now for the Lanterns, even though things are where they should be. And how he illustrates sorrow in this, it looks amazing. It's beautiful. And I can, the next issue, follow-up issue in Green Lantern was fun. It was good. But here, it's absolutely beautiful. And it's a fun setup issue for things to come. And yeah, it's a good read.
Yeah. I'm with you. So I've been playing catch up to get caught up on Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern because it was one of the books that I wasn't reading. And for me, I completely agree. I think he's fixing some of the mistakes that Jeffrey Thorne made. And I hate saying it that way, but that's honestly how it feels.
No, they were.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, we can't mince words about it. The direction he was taking Green Lantern was not Green Lantern. He completely got rid of everything that established what they were, focused on some of the characters that I would say majority of fans don't really care for. And Jeremy Adams, he more or less fixed that shit show. He fixed it.
Yeah.
And it's any writer that can do that, they've got talent. And Jeremy Adams, he's got immense talent.
Yeah. I loved so because I'm playing catch up, it's all been kind of fast, but I loved what he was doing, and there was Philip Kennedy Johnson on War Journal, right?
Yes.
So,
and that was it's more like, and I can understand why Philip Kennedy Johnson had that book, because it was kind of carrying on the state that John Stewart was in from his series, reestablishing him as like the tough badass guy. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, agreed.
And and good family elements, as well as dealing with this extra dimensional entity demon thing. And it was a fun series.
Yeah. But I would say Jeremy's like, there's so much that he's doing here that feels right. It's the course correcting for the brand itself, but you've got so many characters that play, and it feels like setup. And you mentioned earlier, like they're essentially doing a giant event without there being an event. It feels like an event book without being an event book. And it's just another example of me feeling like Jeremy Adams understands these characters to such a degree. We're seeing it here. We saw it with Flash. We saw it with that just brief few pages that he wrote for Penguin. And Aquaman, he gave us a great debut to kind of show the same thing. Because even in Aquaman, he managed to balance the characters really well. Like, yeah, you've got Arthur, you had Mara, you had Jackson Hyde there for a second. Like, you had Wonder Woman and Batman. Like, it all just kind of worked. Like, he gets it. He just gets it. Even the what was the special that he did? The Green Lantern, Green Arrow special. He gets the characters.
That was fun. Yes.
So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Moving on to your number 3 pick of the month of January 2025. We've got... Oh, I didn't show the art. Damn it. I got to get used to the fact that we've got art now. We were talking about Sorrow. You've got Sorrow here on this first page. And, this... Our little, like, toad-looking green guy is a little hokey looking. I get it. But this gives you an idea of the type of art you're getting in this. And, yeah, I love what they do with Sorrow here. So... and if you look at page 2, that bottom panel, you can just see like, okay, good shit. But moving on to your number 3 pick for the month of January 2025, we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #6. What? Did Drew just put a Jason Aaron book in his top 5? What? I'm sure this has everything to do with Jason Aaron and nothing to do with Juan Ferreira, right?
Look, we got to be honest. No one destroys a character. Oh, okay. So, okay. Maybe some people do it better than Jason Aaron, like Tom King and Tom Taylor. They do it better. But Jason
I
Aaron
was
is in
gonna
that
say,
top.
watch it now.
Yeah, he's in the top 3 of destroying characters, and but here, yeah, I was absolutely shocked that Jason Aaron managed to keep all of his regular bad ideas in check and managed to tell a fun, kinetic, action-packed story with these. There are 4 turtles, the main turtles. You know, they're brothers. They're constantly
Mhm.
bickering at each other, and hey, they're gonna throw fists at each other, and they all got different personalities. They're all dealing with
Yep.
these events differently. And what Donatello's going through, it's jacked up still, but it makes sense by the end of this issue. It's like, oh, okay, we have a little twist with what's going on with Donatello and the dead rat. We got a little twist to it. But the other factor in this issue, I do got to compliment, is Juan Ferreira on the art.
Yep.
This the I I think Wes and I agreed that this is probably the best, if not one of the top 3 best illustrated TMNT books ever.
Yep.
And the Turtles have honestly never ever looked this good before.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Juan. I first kind of, I don't want to say got to know him as in like we're close friends, but I got to know him when I was writing for Batman News, and relatively early on in my tenure there, he did a book called Gotham by Midnight, and it was freaking fantastic. And there was horror elements to it, but then you also had just some standard Gotham type stuff. And he balanced everything so well. But like you can just look at this, and he does his own pencils and colors. It's just he's always got really rich art, and every single thing that I've watched him or read of his moving forward has been fantastic. He did this, he did Suicide Squad for a little while, he did Killmonger. Like he's got so much good work that's out there. But you look at this and you're like, damn, that looks good. Like everything about it looks good. From the character designs, he does this. I at first was like, "Yo, what are you doing to my man Donnie down here?" But Donatello's like kind of skinny, but it makes sense because he's the nerd of the group. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, dude, I don't know why I've never thought about that, but it makes sense. But you see how he is with cityscapes, and then even if you look at page 3 down that bottom, like the shadows from the like grates from the street that he does on Rock, it's all these little details like that. He just does freaking incredible work, and I mean, kudos to Jason Aaron for not Jason Aaroning this book, but my God, like it didn't really feel like something until Juan stepped in on the art, and I was like, oh, this is something. The shame of all this is I don't know how long Jason Aaron's run is, but I know he's not working on the book anymore. So that's like, okay. Okay, fine, I guess.
Yeah, I want to give him probably till maybe issue 12 at the most,
Yeah.
then he's gone. But if Juan Ferreira is staying on, I want Juan to stay on the book. He needs to stay on. This is terrific.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If we get another 6 issues of this, and they can tell like a just damn good story within those 6 issues, like you can have a potential evergreen classic TMNT just story to package and just keep it revolving on the shelves because this is fantastic. Again, I can't praise Juan enough. I love the guy. He's super nice too. So if you ever see him at a convention, go say hello because he's freaking fantastic. But great pick. Completely back it. Completely back Juan's art. Great job. Moving on, we're going to go ahead and move into our number 2 picks for January 2025. And coming in as my number 2 debut, I think I might surprise Drew here because my number 2 pick is actually Aquaman #1, written by Jeremy Adams with art by John Timms and colors by Rex Locust. Now you might be saying, why is this going to surprise Drew? Like he picked this book. It's probably because he thought this was going to be my number 1. But my number 1, I think, is going to surprise him even more for so many reasons. But look, you mentioned this book earlier. I love what Jeremy's doing here. I think it's a great debut. I think it's probably the best we've seen of Aquaman since Jeff Johns launched New 52 with his arc on Aquaman. Gosh, 13 years ago at this point.
Wow.
So
It's been that long.
I know,
Jeez.
right? Isn't it wild to think it's been that long?
Yeah.
But I love what they did here. I love and I'm not really a fan of what happened with what was the absolute power? Yeah. I'm not a fan of what they did with most of that, but the idea that Arthur now has Mira's abilities, I really liked that. And I like seeing him kind of try to learn and her coaching him. But God, it was so nice the way that it was done because it felt real. And it wasn't like, oh yeah, I am woman. Let me tell you how it's done, you schmuck of a man. But it was also him and how he was kind of leaning into her of like, I need your assistance with this. But just the way they executed that was great. I love the setup. I love the tease of the portal and what's potentially going on there. And I also love that because I don't want to give too much away. Like read the book, but I love that Bruce and Diana were kind of like, good luck, but also good luck to whoever's going to come in contact with him. Because Jeremy's really setting Arthur up to be this just badass character. Because I think, what is it, the splash page for page 2 and 3 that says he's a god killer, and I'm like, bring it on.
Yes.
So I can't if what Jeremy did on Flash and the world building and just picking that character up with the world building that he's doing with Green Lantern, I can't wait to see what he does with Arthur and Atlantis and all those characters, and I'm stoked. So, and once again, art. Hoorah. But we'll go on to your number 2 pick for January 2025, and it is Nemesis Rogues Gallery number 5, written by Mark Miller with art by Valerio Giordano and colors by Lee Loffridge. I have to apologize to Lee Loffridge because I've spent years thinking you're a woman, and you're not a woman, you're a dude. So my bad. But I was a little surprised to see this so high on your list because for the most of this run, we've kind of been about it because of a tampon sidekick here. But you and Kyle both were like, yo, this last issue, though, oh, shit. So what's so great about what made things turn around for this book?
He brought it home. He brought it home, this final issue. And more or less, Nemesis goes to Epstein Island. And he's got to get his money back. And he's got some plans and schemes to get that money back from some of these people on this island. And it's tasteless, disgusting, and offensive. I love it, and I had a blast reading this, and that's what honestly that's what Nemesis really has been, a very offensive, over the top book. And in this chapter, it really gets back to that offensive, over the top, what the hell am I reading book. And I had a blast with it. And on top of that, you had Nemesis meeting his very first sidekick face to face. It's awesome. And he has a confrontation with the other sidekick here. And yeah, and by the end of this, I want more. I want more Nemesis. This is fantastic. And in my opinion, this is the best illustrated of the Mark Miller books. Jan Giordano is a terrific artist. And I really don't think he's getting the praise that he should be. And I really hope we get to see him in more projects from Mark.
Yeah, I know there were some conversations early on that we were having about the art where you and I know were like loving it, and Max was like, I don't know if I like it. We're like, man, shut up and get out of here. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, no, it's a great book. And if you don't have a Nemesis book that's doing like CD shit, then what are you doing? Like, why are you even doing a Nemesis book? But yeah, brought it home is the best way to describe it, because I felt like for 3 issues, it was just uncertainty of like, what are we doing here? And the fact that he was like, this is what we're doing. We're like, yep, I should have just trusted you, Mark. It's fine. Thank you. Here's my money. When's the next book coming out? But good stuff. And I'll be curious to see where they go with their next story.
Yeah.
moving on, we are to the point. The moment of the night, our number one issue for January 2025. And Drew, I know you will understand this, but I've had distillery books on here before. I'm not afraid to throw that out there. So we have a distillery book, but that's not the real shocker. The real shocker is that not only did I pick a distillery book as my number one book, but I picked a Scott Snyder book as my number one pick. And you know I am not at all. Like I get shit all the time. I don't care. Like I'm very vocal that I don't like his stuff, that I think he's overrated. But I will say this didn't feel like the Scott Snyder we've come to know. This felt more like Black Mirror Scott Snyder, and I think Black Mirror is the best thing that he's ever done. But this is the book You Won't Feel a Thing, and written by Scott Snyder with art by Jock. These two work really well together. They have a way of knowing how to tell a story. This story in particular is a bit of a murder mystery. You've got a guy that's a detective, and it's told in three different time periods, pretty much. When he's a young teen in the 70s, him as an adult in his career as a detective, and him present day. And he has a brain tumor and is just kind of, going on with life. Does this feel like a Netflix pitch? 100%. Does this feel like something? I know. And look, I know you're saying, but there have been plenty of books that feel like a Netflix pitch and they suck. But just because it feels like a Netflix pitch doesn't mean it's gonna suck. This feels like a David Fincher type film. It's got a certain just energy to it that feels like that type of film if it were going to get made. But what I really like here is nothing about this to me says Scott Snyder. You've got people dropping F-bombs right and left, but it doesn't feel forced. It feels natural. You've got some skin being shown, and it doesn't feel like, oh, look, kids, I'm being edgy. Like, it just works. And it's a really kind of wicked, interesting story that you kind of have to piece it together a little bit as it's going. And as you learn more about the plot, you're also learning about your main character and why he does certain things or why he feels certain ways. But I thought it was really, really good. Scott has done other books from Distillery that I was like, read it and tossed it. He's done other stuff outside of Distillery that was indies that I read it and tossed it. But this is the first time I've been like, you know what, Scott Snyder, good job. And then Jock's freaking fantastic. I mean, he's not the cleanest lines, but he brings a mood to the table. So if you want something that's more of like a crime story type genre, this is a book for you, and I would say go check it out. It's more cerebral and psychological than horror, but it definitely has touches of horror to it. All right, Drew, are you gonna go pick up? Are you gonna go pick up a Distillery book now?
I'm gonna say no.
No, okay. I will say I also didn't have images to show because your first few pages are splash pages, so I just put some extra covers here. But you can see we got a cheeky cover by Tula Lote. But this might give you a little idea. You know what, Max? Maxfield Von Priestley is coming in to go confirm shill. Screw you, but I will see you in 12 minutes on Nadia's stream. How about that? All right, Drew, we're going to go on to your number one pick for the month of January 2025. And it is
Frank Stallone.
Transformers number 16, written by Daniel Warren Johnson, or Art. Jesus Christ. Art by Jorge Corona and colors by Sarah Stern. This is the Autobots versus the Decepticons versus exclamation point. You loved the previous issue and what it kind of finished off with, and now we get this issue and it's back to number one yet again, second month in a row. What is Daniel Warren Johnson doing that's just winning?
He's giving me what I want as a Transformer fan. Rock'em Sock'em Robots. And we get that in this issue. It's specific. Almost every page is an action page, which is flipping amazing. And this, I'm going to say right now, this is arguably the best work Jorge Corona has ever done in his career. There's no doubt in my mind this is. How he illustrates Bruticus versus Devastator is immaculate. It's beautiful. And how he draws Astro Train crashing in, what the shit? It is so incredibly detailed. It is beautiful. And just how he illustrates, he's able to capture the emotions of the Autobots and Decepticons. He's able to capture like the funnier moments between Starscream and Thundercracker. When I'm not going to explain what happens, but Starscream's on a little rover tank thing, and let's just say Thundercracker gets the upper hand on him, and it's pretty funny. But and on top of that, we got the burgeoning mystery of what's going on with Optimus Prime. Why is he having these outbursts of his energy and power? He's not able to control his motions. But by the end of this issue, holy shit. The moment we've all been waiting for since issue 1, we finally get his appearance at the very last page, and yes, it's just it's Skybound, Hasbro. They're giving me what I want. I am feeling like an 8-year-old kid reading these books. I am so anxious to come back to read the next chapters. These are what comic books should be doing to you, the buyer, the reader, the fan, getting you to come back each week and making you feel like an 8-year-old. And this one does it.
Yes, sir. Again, I think Daniel Warren Johnson's been pretty consistent from day one. I think maybe issues, what was it, 11, 12 were a little bit of a dip because it was kind of doing some emotional setup.
Yeah.
But especially lately, he's been balls to the wall. Which he's ending at issue 24, right?
Yes, when he's done. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it feels like he's purposely been ramping up, and it feels like it's only going to continue to ramp up and get crazier.
It better, yeah. Because how this issue ends, it better.
Fair. But that essentially means we got roughly like 8 issues left of just like balls to the wall action. And I'm stoked. I can't wait. And we'll see if maybe, because everyone gives me shit at my end of year list that this isn't as high for me as it is for other people. But we'll see if it manages to crack my top 10.
Josh, I want you to tell me that this is not some of the best, if not the best, work of Jorge Corona's career. In this issue.
100% the best of Jorge Corona's work. And I know a lot of people loved Ain't No Grave. I personally, it didn't vibe with me that much. I hated his work on Batgirls.
Yeah, it's horrible.
But this is just freaking fantastic. And honestly, I wouldn't have said, I don't know if I would have said he's got a guaranteed career or a legacy career prior to him doing this book. I think this book is going to give that to him. And
I'm going to say right now, I'm actually enjoying his artwork more than Daniel Warren Johnson's artwork.
Nice. Hey, that is big praise. But they're
after
both fantastic.
Yeah, they're both fantastic. But after this issue, how he draws the action sequences. I mean, we got to see Bruticus versus Devastator in this damn book, and you got to see Astro Train come crashing in. It's like, oh my god, that's fucking awesome! I love it. It's just every time I see the pages, I'm an 8-year-old again, and I love it.
Hell yeah. A few comments real quick on our number 1 picks. We had Salty Traveling Sea come in and say both good calls for number 1s. Thank you, senor. I appreciate it. And George Dimitropoulos put the covers are great for the Snyder book. Dude, the covers are so good. And Salty even added in more saying, I got the B cover Chef's Kiss, a very, very rare distillery buy for me. Worth it. I think this is by far was the best distillery book that they put out. And Salty also came in and discussing Transformers, but Transformers has been such a good run. Agreed. And then he said this made him rewatch the 1986 movie. So
that movie gets a bad rap. I mean, look, it did for a while, and I rewatched it not too long ago, and It's a fun movie. I thoroughly enjoy that '86 movie. And
Yeah.
if you're an adult like us and you don't get a little choked up when Optimus is dying, it's like there's something wrong with you. And
Yeah.
if you don't get ramped up when Optimus Prime is that having that last battle with Megatron, when he's driving in, just running over the Decepticons, and he's launching in the air. It's like, dude, it's like you get so jacked up, and it's awesome. It's giving you what we all really wanted to see in the animated series, but we're getting it in the movie. It was epic.
Epic. Yeah, I'm loving this. Looking forward to the future again. And we'll see where these books land next month for our February list.
Yep.
But I thought tonight was a shit ton of fun. So thanks for coming and doing this with me. We're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Oh yeah, shit. Again, freaking Drew, you're gonna have to remind me. Hey, look, we've got art. Look at this great Jorge Corona art. Let's go ahead and wrap things up for tonight. Drew, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
You can find me at MegaCon this weekend. I'll be at the Comic Mint TCM Press booth selling my comic book exclusives for Silent Knights, Unholy Nightmare, and Depths of Valor. And I'll also have a fourth title there as well, Aftermath, or 8-page preview there at Comic Kingdom Experience. Comic Kingdom Creative, their booth. We got some hot covers there, and I also have a Symbiote Willie exclusive there from Joe Doyle artist. So I got a bunch of stuff I'll be signing there this weekend. And you can find me on Instagram, Dolan_Waddick, and you can find me on Facebook as Dolan Waddick. I'm posting nothing but my work and stuff at the conventions.
Heck yeah. We do have George coming in with some nicknames for you tonight. So recently you got the nickname Heavy D from Spencer, which I'm gonna keep in my back pocket. Especially, I honestly, the best part of that when Spencer was like, "Yeah, I like the D." But we got George coming in with some nicknames for you. So he's got Dolan Thugnificent Waddick. So
booty, butt cheeks.
Yeah, booty butt cheeks. And then we've got Dolan, you got the touch, Waddick. You got the touch.
You got the power.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you're at MegaCon, go see Drew. Like, why not? Drew, I'll have to make sure X-Ray. So X-Ray Girl's gonna be there. So I'll have to make sure she knows you're there so she can swing by and say hello. From X-Ray Girl. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
for my rice patty hat.
We're gonna get clipped. People are like, these freaking racists, not knowing that's like a running joke with X-Ray. Anyways, yes, go see Drew. Go follow him. Follow his work. Clearly, as you can tell, he's got a ton of shit that he's working on. There's stuff that hasn't even been announced yet. So good stuff all around. And if you want to find me, you can find me at @ByPops on Twitter or at Joshua L. McDonald. I usually have more of the comic book nerdy stuff over on the @ByPop side. You may or may not see me have a running tangent about the Royal Rumble if you follow at Joshua L. McDonald. What can I say? We might talk about that next week, which brings me to what's coming up on the channel. So if you're wondering what kind of week I'm having, there was an idiot who edited a video, uploaded a video, and then didn't set a premiere for it. So that would be me. So oh shit, that's not it. That's it. Our Marvelous Monday for X-Men will post this upcoming Monday, since I just posted it or uploaded it without setting a premiere, and I was like, I put it up, it's good. And then was trying to figure out for the life of me why it didn't air. That would be why. Other than that, at the end of the month, we are going to have Comic Book Club. We are covering Batman Year One by Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli. I cannot wait to talk about this book. I have an old video that I'm going to try to put up as well for a members only video. When I was with Batman News, we got the Batman News crew because we were testing the idea of doing videos. And this was probably 2014, 2015. And we didn't have as easily accessible technology out there to edit videos and kind of work with it. So we never got around to actually doing the video series like we wanted to. But we do have a discussion on Batman Year One. So you'll get our book club discussion with the crew that I pulled together. And then I will post that other Batman News discussion in as for members. So something to tease there. And then next week we're gonna have Culture Popped. I can already tell you right now we're gonna discuss the Fantastic Four teaser trailer that dropped. I still have not watched it yet, so I'm sure I'll watch it tonight after I get off Nadia's stream. We will discuss the Buffy, not even reboot, but revival that's being discussed. What are my thoughts?
The original
on that?
movie with Christian Swanson?
Nope. Drew, you sweet summer child. And then there was some other news that I can't think of right now that I was like, oh, this is totally newsworthy. But something else is going on. You'll see it there. We'll discuss it. It'll be fun. So come see us next week for Culture Pop, where we just kind of get a little down and dirty with pop culture. But other than that, I will say thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I had a blast discussing comics and nerdy shit as always. And we're going to call it a night, and then we will see y'all next week. Also, thank you to Corey and thank you to Salty C for your memberships, and thank you, Nadia, for dropping those 5 gifted memberships. See y'all next week.
Get the fuck